unidentified impact.
Drones are mobile. Keep your tech out of there.
They are human.
I'm ordering you to return to tower immediately.
Jack.
This is the only way.
When Joe Kosinski, the director, first told me about Oblivion, you know, he had this graphic novel, but that was a story that he wanted to tell. It's very much the same story, but obviously it grew. You know, we were exploring different things with the characters, and Andrew Riceborough, who plays Vika, Olga Kurylenko, you know, Julia. It's always evolving, but definitely Joe Kosinski had the movie that he wanted to shoot.
I grew up loving science fiction films as a kid. You know, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so you know, everything from Omega Man, Silent Running, La Jetée, Star Wars. I mean, those are the films I remember loving as a kid. So I think in some ways Oblivion is an homage to those, you know, more character-driven, story-driven science fiction films.
When I read the script, there are things that I didn't understand it right away, because when it says bubble ship, scav, sky tower, we don't know what it is. We don't have this in presence, so I needed images. And I met with Joe Kosinski, and he showed me the images of the film, because, you know, he came up with a graphic novel, and they were so beautiful, and I thought, wow, this is super cool. I want to be part of this movie.
Systems are green.
You're cleared, be careful out there.
Where's Am?
No, you're not.
You're right. Gotta work on that.
2 more weeks, Jack, and we can finally leave and join the others. Don't take any chances.
The character, basically, Jack Harper's, you know, although it's 2077, he's a blue-collar guy. You know, he flies in a cool spaceship down to Earth, but he's a drone repairman, and he starts out in one place and then ends up going on this personal, epic journey. There's these extraordinary twists and turns, epic twists in the film, all the way up until the final frame.
Doesn't seem right. We won the war. Now we have to leave.
The story turns all the time, and you will never predict where it's going. Apart from all of that, it was quite human, and it had a beautiful romantic story, which is very important. Well, for me, as a girl, I like, you know, it's fun when things blow up, but it's also nice to watch a love story.
Tower, we have got survivors. There are 4, check it, 5 survivors. They are human.
I wanted this to be an in-camera science fiction film, and obviously you have to work very hard to achieve that, because the settings and the world you're creating at the same time has to be like nothing else you've ever seen before. But I made sure we built every set we could. We shot on location in Iceland for a month, as opposed to shooting on a big blue screen stage.
When we arrived in Iceland and we saw the post-apocalyptic world around us, there was the Empire State Building sticking out of the ground, half broken, and the art department built it. So we didn't have to imagine things. It was there. It felt very real.
He wanted as practical as possible for the actors and for the characters, and he wants to immerse the audience in this world.
We used front projection techniques rather than blue screen around the Sky Tower, which was something Stanley Kubrick used at the opening section of 2001. We used a much more high-tech version of it, obviously, but it creates a lighting effect and an immersive quality.
When he showed me the Sky Tower and how he wanted to shoot it, something that he'd been working on for many years, this kind of technique, and he went atop a volcano in Hawaii and photographed cloud formations, all for weeks, night and day, sunrise, sunsets, stars. And then when we were shooting on the Sky Tower, we had massive screens around the set, and he projected the cloud formations onto these screens, and that's how he lit the set. So first, it was the most beautiful set I've ever been on in my life. And when you're on top of that, you know, for the audience, when they're seeing it, they're really in the clouds. That's just one aspect of, you know, I think what Joe Kosinski's done. He's a world creator.
Are you still an effective team?
No, we are not an effective team.
You can design forever. And trust me, I have producers on the movie who are saying, how much longer are we going to be illustrating? When are we going to start shooting? But you need to do that in science fiction. You are creating worlds, and then when you get to build it, it's always fun to actually be able to walk into your creation that day of shooting.
This movie's just cool. His aesthetic it's so beautiful. It has a haunting, romantic element, quality to the film.
I mean, the design of the bubble ship, I did consult with a panel of scientists at the beginning of the film, just to kind of make sure everything is rooted in science, the technology feels real. But, also the design of the bubble ship, I wanted something that is, for an audience, allows you to feel like you're in the ship with Tom. So that big glass bubble was really done, so that we could experience what it's like to fly over Earth 70 years from now and feel like you're sitting next to him.
The bubble ship, the style of the Sky Tower. We call it the bubble bike, but it's the motorcycle that I drive down there. The cool laser gun that I get to shoot. All that stuff was Joe Kosinski's, and the essence of the story is very much Joe Kosinski.
Any movie is kind of a miracle that gets made. There's thousands of screenplays written every year, and there's only a select few movies that get to be built, particularly at this level, this scale. Obviously, I knew a movie like this had to have a movie star at the center of it in order to get it made, and also a tremendous actor, because the movie has so many different elements. It's not just an action film. It's got drama, it's got romance, it's got a mystery, and with Tom, you get both. You get a big movie star, but I think also, sometimes people forget you get an amazing actor as well, and you need someone like that to pull this film off.
We're not showing the invasion at the beginning of the film. It's just, we have an alien, they've seen that. And then the story kind of deconstructs in a manner that, if the audience hasn't read a bunch about it, they're going to be like, they're going to be stunned. But then also looking at the film so that when people see it a second time, it's like the first time you hear the story or read the script, the second recounting of it, the second time seeing the film, it actually has a whole different kind of emotional experience for the audience, where I've shown the film to friends, I don't tell them anything, and then you go through it and then they see it again. It's kind of a film that that keeps giving.
If you work on a mysterious character, and which you can't reveal right away from the first appearance on screen, it's an interesting thing to work on, because you have to kind of uncover it as you go.
Do you remember her?
Jack, that was a scav, a beacon that brought her down. We don't know who she is or what she is.
It's unique. It's original. I don't think you have seen anything like it before, even though we've all seen sci-fi films, but not this one.
You not only can explore really interesting big ideas, but you can also ask fundamental questions that relate to everybody, even non-science fiction fans. So just that notion of what is it that makes us who we are? Why are we here? Those kind of big questions were fundamental in that original story, and I think are still there in the final film.
Great sci-fi has personal stories that we can connect with, that either we want to see ourselves through that, or we understand emotionally what people are going through, and it just has this wonderful drama.
I've been watching you, Jack. It's time to learn the truth.